So the referees tried all they could. The referees tried all they could, but they could not stop the Aces whistle. They could not stop the Aces whistle. Like, we saw Leni Fibic, who was the most important player for the Liberty, almost get herself into foul trouble, almost fouled out. Like, this was her fourth foul early in the third quarter on a phantom foul by AJ Wilson. Like, Leni Fibic got called for multiple phantom fouls. Like, people nowhere near her, she got called for multiple phantom fouls, while the Aces were allowed to play defense like this. I want to count the fouls. I'm going to go full screen on this. And this is when you know I'm being serious for counting the fouls. I'm going to go full screen. You're not even going to see my face here. So, Stewie's dribbling the ball here. First of all, I wouldn't call it, but if you're going to call everything on the Aces, hand on the hip here. That is one foul. Reach across the body. I don't know what that is, but that's a foul. She is grabbing her leg. That is a third foul after grabbing the ball. She has now grabbed her body again. A fourth foul. She's hit her in the back. A fifth foul. Again, these are all touch fouls. Other than the grab around her back and grab across, these might all be touch fouls. The problem is, these were all called as fouls in the Liberty. That's where the issue is. The issue isn't that they're letting them play. The issue is these are all fouls in the Liberty. That's 4. And that is a blatant fifth foul. She just slapped her arm there. Slapped her arm again. 6 fouls. Slapped her arm again. 7 fouls. Again, slapping someone's arm, like some of them, these are very soft, but you know what? They were calling soft fouls in the Liberty. Kelsey Plum bear hugging her. 8 fouls. Continued bear hug. And Chelsea Gray, in fairness, gets a steal. In real time, let's just see. It looks worse in real time. And I know it's a little bit slow. So I'm going to speed this up a little bit. Like, it looks really, really bad. Like, the referees, they're counting the 5 seconds. Like, what? Like, this ball 23 guy. I'm sorry, he thinks that he's the ball 23 in Chicago with how he thinks people are out here watching games for him every time we see him play. I think this is thereabouts full speed. Like, this is how the ref saw it. This is a little bit slow motion. The ref saw this in real time. How the hell did you see this in real time and say no foul? No foul. No foul. And yet the Aces got literally every whistle. They got every whistle in this game. And they still lost. The way the Aces are refereed is absolutely pathetic. And I mean that. Like, I said before the game, like, I'm very, very close, by the way. A lot of people are like, oh, I know nothing about the WNBA. I'm close to having a perfect semifinal prediction, by the way. I'm very close to having a perfect semifinal prediction. Liberty 3, Aces plus refs 1, Lynx 3, Sun 2. The Lynx win. You must not understand playoffs basketball. Vegas is going back to the finals. Regular season playoff is different. You should know this. Lol. In fairness, I've said a lot of dumb takes. So you can definitely do the same thing for me, and I give anyone free reign to do it. Because unlike a lot of people, I'm not above criticism. I'm not above being made fun of. And I do not take myself seriously at all. But yeah, it's really bad to see the way it's gone. For me, I think it's awful. And I think that the general consensus of the Aces, I think it was they basically felt like the Aces had to win. The Aces had to win. I think that was the big problem with it all, was that from day one, everyone was told the Aces are winning, the Aces are winning, the Aces are winning. And this time the Aces didn't. The Aces didn't win. And not only that, if you watched Game 3, and this is a big problem again, I have it all, is the commentators, they were like, the commentators should be fired. Why? Because basically, I'm not joking, they were like, oh, they said that this was a foul. Kelsey Plum ran up to Vandersloot, who was standing there with the ball in her hand, shoved her, and Vandersloot fell backwards, and the referees called a travel. And then the next play, they just started getting more and more physical. And that's the problem with the way the referees are. Is a lot of people, it's they know. It's literally like the Aces are told before the game. Because the Aces, games 1 and 2, in fairness, I don't think the referees really did anything in games 1 and 2. I think, was it game 2 or maybe it was game 1. There was one of the games where I thought the whistle was favorable towards the Liberty, and the Aces had a meltdown. Like, they looked like they didn't know how to play basketball during that spell. They were just flabbergasted by every call. Like, I'd never seen anything like it. They genuinely looked just confused. And then suddenly it comes out in game 3 and they just start shoving people. I think maybe it was game 1 where the refs were at them. In game 2, I think it was a fair and square game a lot of the way. There's bad refs. There's going to be bad calls no matter what. But they lost the game fair and square. And then game 3, they just went out shoving people because they knew the refs were going to try help them. And even with the refs, and the best part, like, and people were like, oh, the refs didn't lose them. That didn't change the game. I want to show you guys the plus minuses of the game. It is one of the biggest, it is one of the most obvious things. So if you want to look at the 2 players that they made sure as hell picked up phantom fouls, were Leni Fibic and Jonquel Jones. And unpopular opinion, this team is can survive better with Stewie off the floor than with Jonquel Jones and Fibic off the floor. Yes, obviously Stewie and Sab are going to take them home, but they can't survive without the others. They can't survive at all. Like Leni Fibic, shooting 50% from 3 in the playoffs, had 11 points, was plus 28. Jonquel Jones was plus 20. Leni Fibic was plus 28. So in the 12 minutes Leni Fibic was off the floor, they were minus 14. She is everything for their defense, by the way. She's everything. She guards Aja. She'll guard Aja at times to give her different looks. Then she'll suddenly switch on to Kelsey Plum. She'll do everything. She'll do absolutely everything on the defensive end. But the referees made sure as hell that she wasn't in the game for very long. They did their best job of making sure she was out of the game. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, I don't think that it's the end of the world. I don't think that they would have won this, like the Aces would have won or would have been a 3-game series had the refs been not on their side. Because I do think, even though the refs really did screw the Liberty in game 3, the Aces were just better. The Aces were just better in game 3. Like, sometimes you can get the benefit of the whistle, but it doesn't really matter if the other team are just better than you. But at this stage, they are like, it was like the referees were doing everything they could to make sure as hell the Liberty couldn't win the game, but they couldn't because Leni Fibic didn't go near anybody in the second half. They couldn't. Yeah, that's pretty much it. The referees tried. They sent the Michael Jordan of referees. And why I'm just going to start calling him Michael Jordan because he's bald, he wears number 23, and he makes sure as hell that he is the main talking point at the end of every game he plays, every game he refs. So I'm calling him Michael Jordan. I'm calling him MJ. From now on, when we see Michael Jordan reffing, we know he's going to be a talking point. We know the fans are there to see him. He thinks he's Jordan. He thinks the fans wants to be there to see him anyway. But yeah, that's the video. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe.